Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today I have another, not American, Japanese whiskey on the cask. It's called the Togouchi. Togouchi is not the distillery name, it's actually the Sakurao Brennerei distillery. So, the Sakurao distillery is producing the Togouchi single malt whiskey, and it's the first single malt whiskey from the distillery. I always get the Japanese whiskeys here because I did a big Japanese whiskey tour and I can talk a lot about the distilleries, but unfortunately I have a little disclaimer here. I can't tell you about this distillery, any inside knowledge that I've seen there, because the distillery was built in 2018 and I've been there before 2018. So the distillery didn't stand when I was coming to Japan. So I've not been to the distillery. And what we do know is the distillery was founded by a company that also has a brewery, I think at the same place. So they already have a good amount of knowledge about malt, yeast, fermentation, quality assurance, and liquids in general. So they do have a lot of experience, so I'm expecting something good here. It's double distilled, it's matured in bourbon and sherry cask, and it's not colored, not chill filtered, 43% ABV. And because it's not colored, not artificially colored, we can talk about the color that it has and speculate a little bit about how it was matured. So 2018 it was distilled, or the distillery was founded, so it was probably distilled in 2018. And it's very light, it looks like white wine. So there's a lot of speculation about, I would say, is it refill casks in there? They probably didn't use any virgin oak casks, so it's only bourbon and sherry cask. So young whiskey, not very strong maturation, because usually a distillery that brings out their first whiskey uses fresh casks, very, very strong casks, to get a lot of flavors into the first whiskey to get a good impression. Let's see how the Togouchi does. Ooh. It's very, very fresh, very, very apples and pears like, with a little bit of a vanilla touch to it and a lot of sweetness. So it has a lot of sweetness in it, but it's not very intense. So this is not the normal, typical, very, very additive matured first single malt, but this is probably more pre-matured, released older whiskey. So I would really like to see how this is. This tastes in 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. Almost no oak in there. It's still very, very fruity. It has a bit of a character of new make, although the metallic use, from my point of view, seems to be gone. Maybe there are some smidges in there still, but it's a very, very young whiskey. Is it under matured? Let's find out. Same as in the nose. It has that new make spirit character, a lot of apples, a lot of pears, very fruity, very light, very floral. A hint of oak is in there. A little bit of vanilla. You realize, there's a bit of bourbon character in there. Somehow a little bit too fruity, so is that a bit of a sherry in there? But the fruitiness comes very, very much still from the distillate. Is it under matured? Question still stands. I would say it's okay. If you expect a very young whiskey, then it's nice. If you expect the normal whiskey, under mature. So the Togouchi single malt is the first single malt from the distillery. So that's why it's a bit more expensive. It has a price point of about 70 euros, like $80, something like that. That is very, 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 very expensive for such a young whiskey. Also, it's a bit of a exceptional whiskey, because usually in Japan you only do blended malt to get the perfect blend. Here they did a single malt. They can still do blending between different casks, so they can do the perfect blend, but only from one distillery. So a bit of a extraordinary whiskey within the Japanese whiskey industry. I like it. Probably many people will say, oh, that feels very much too young, but I still do like it. And I'm really glad that they did it, because it shows, I would say this one shows that the Sakura distillery is in for the long run. This will be an excellent whiskey if it has more years. Up till now, it's a very young whiskey. Yeah, that was my review, my take on the Togouchi single malt whiskey. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.